In today's journey, Phil's making beer waffles. A great way to zazz up your cooking repertoire without any effort. If you have a super secret family recipe, it's a great time to break that out and just replace the water with the beer, cook just as normal. But for once in his life, Phil's gonna remember to kiss and keep it simple stupid by using a box ingredients instead. Call it lazy if you want, but the main event's the beer anyways. And speaking of beer, Phil always seems to have a pile of beers waiting to be made into waffles. He highly recommends beers that are either extremely bold in flavor or have other unique characteristics that make them stand out. Such as Witch's Hat's Night Fury, an imperial stout brewed with molasses and lactose to give a sweetness. Dogfish Head's Flesh and Blood IPA, or any of the other number of beers that we don't have time to go into today. The one we're after is from Roak Brewing Company in Michigan. It's the French Toast Devil Dog Oatmeal Stout, brewed with maple syrup. And the first thing we will want to do with this beer after opening it will be to take a taste, because we want to make sure that we're making waffles with good beer. It looks like Phil's gonna need a moment, because the beer is just that good. Luckily I have another one here in the studio. It all starts with that aroma. It has the distinctive smell of cinnamon French toast, and it's there, but it's not hit you in the face there either. When you go to take a drink, it starts off as a nice solid foundation of an oatmeal stout that finishes with a nice distinct flavor of French toast with cinnamon and a touch of maple syrup, but it sits in the back. It's not in the forefront. It may not be something that you want to drink all night, but it's definitely something you could drink more than one of. One of the hardest parts of making the waffles is measuring the beer itself. You don't want it to be flat beer because those CO2 bubbles are going to help give lift. But we want to make sure that we also get the proper measurement through. Because of these inaccuracies, you will have to eye it a bit until you get the consistency that you like. But just like in brewing, making waffles, there's a lot of experimentation until you find exactly what fits you right. For him, that's taking his brand name box, taking 2/3 of a cup of the mix, 1/3 of a cup of beer, and half a teaspoon of peanut oil. If you like your waffles denser, use more flour, and if you like them more airy and light, use more beer. And it looks like Phil's running low on beer himself. Although it may be tempting to make it buttery smooth, remember that getting out every lump can also lead to overmixing as well. We do recommend a bit of undercooking with your waffles, even if you do like them more crispy, as it can tend to create more off flavors. Another rookie mistake would be to try to fill the waffle maker all the way, as a waffle is going to expand during cooking and can lead to one hell of a mess down the side. After a few minutes, the light goes on and we know everything's done. We give it a flip back over, get our plate ready, and throw all caution to the wind as Phil reaches in and grabs a hot waffle with his bare hands. Safety first again. And remember, a plate with a waffle on it is only a few chicken strips away from being chicken and waffles. Although we wouldn't hold it against you to use more traditional toppings such as whipped cream and strawberries. And though you may not think that cooking with beer is an original idea, it's not. Cooking it with a waffle, though, leaves it open to allow the beer flavor to come through in which other cooking methods don't allow, as high heat and long cooking times tends to diminish the flavor of the beer, along with there being a lot of other flavors in competition when making other types of foods. It's almost scary how much of the original flavor of the French toast beer is still in the waffle. It tastes like a French toast waffle. It's maintained some of that creaminess and sweetness, but definitely you can taste the maple syrup even before you put the maple syrup on there. Only complaint is that Phil kind of overcooked them. I also would have preferred it if he had held back on some of that flour and made more of a light, airy waffle instead and really let that beer shine through. Of course, the biggest downside to making beer waffles is that there's so many options out there, but only so many waffles one man can eat in a day. So we'll give him a few minutes alone with these. Although it's always important not to leave Phil alone for too long, as it's always only a matter of time until he comes up with his next concoction. Mixing two different types of beer waffles together at once. We have a Rock IPA along with their French Toast Devil Dog. It was amazing. And if you're having troubles keeping up with our shenanigans, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow us on Instagram for more behind the scenes, because you never know what we'll be doing in the office next.